What's going on, traders? Welcome back to day 14 of 25 days of trading. I want to talk to you about this VWAP bounce, more specifically the New York VWAP bounce. I have my full strategy pretty much based around this one simple VWAP anchored from the 930 New York Open, but I also want to give some insights on how I use NQ and ES throughout the morning to try to get a gauge on what direction I want to trade. This morning, you'll see they looked a little bit different, but we were able to squeak out a break-even day. So first off, let's go through the open, and you'll see big volatility. Now, we can bring over the 15-minute, and you'll see on this day, big volatility to start. We wake up in the morning, and we had already moved down on ES here, 70 points. But then just to bounce back higher, another 60 before we're even into the New York Open. So a lot of gas momentum being used, and we're not even at 930 yet. And yet, at the Open, we get a what? Another drop from high to low, 40 points, right? So when you add all these moves together, it is moving a lot today. But we let the opening range set, all these different things. We don't need to rush into a trade. There was potential longs on the table that we were liking on stream. But again, these rules in place, so we don't need to rush. The 15-minute opening range isn't set. We don't know our levels. We haven't broken out yet. Let's give it some time. And thankfully, we held off on the longs, because if you longed it there, you get smoked. But the longs aren't wrong. They're just early, which is often the case when you trade inside this range. Now, my VWAP strategy has bounce plays and break plays. So if we go over the VWAP bounce play in here, there is none. But if you want to jump into the shorts because you're seeing a lower low, pull back, here's our lower high, let's go back lower, that would be the setup. If sellers are going to stand in today, that would definitely be the trade and the level I'd want to be short at. But if you notice, there's no bounce at all. Buyers just slice right through it. So there should be no circumstance when you're in a short there because you didn't see sellers defend this level and try to curl us back down, right? So that's number one. Hopefully you didn't get induced into the shorts there. But if you somehow did, I guess it would be better than jumping in at the bottom, right? At least waiting for a pullback. But we give it more time. Let's see if sellers can get back below here. Because, I mean, damn, that's a strong open. Are we just going to go higher now? But we give it time. It makes a new high of day. So now new information. So now if you do find a long, it's following higher highs, right? A new high of day, higher high. Let's see if we can catch the higher lows and catch some longs. And you look at the rest of the morning. Where does the money come from? Where are these clean bounces as opposed to what we didn't have a bounce back here? The bounce off New York, right? Now in line with the longs because we had made a new high of day. So there is money to be made on the longs on this first break, but that's fine. We don't need to catch the very first long that buyers are in. Let's go higher, right? Because at that time it had been a very bearish morning with all this sell-off. That where do you even want to stop loss on this thing, right? Do you want to go 24 points to go get exactly 24 points to the top? Maybe you shrink it down lower. It's just not a great looking trade, but it does work out. Okay, cool. Now I'm getting a little bit more bullish bias though because that trade worked out. So when we get back to New York, I don't want to sell it. I mean, we just made a new high of day. I can't sell it if we just made a new high of day. Just like I can't buy it if we had just made a new low of day, right? Following structure. Buyers just made a new high. Pull back, let's go get the next higher high. And it takes some time to do so, right? There was a few people I saw on stream taking shorts here. The reason I don't love that is because we're still looking long. Buyers are defending above this VWAP, and we just made a higher high like I spoke of. So we've spent all day, yes, this morning push, but sellers spent 2 minutes below it there, 2 minutes below it there, and now we're just going to sell off. It's a little aggressive, right? Too much forecasting that it's just going to sell off, where if we just read and react, see if buyers defend this level, you get great long opportunities all off this same VWAP price, right? Waiting for buyers to show their hand that they're going to defend this level, just like you would want to wait back here that sellers are going to defend this level, and they did not, so we're not in the short there. But when you see buyers or sellers defend this VWAP, I get very, very interested. Now, when you look at NQ, though, the reason I also don't love this first long, and this is why I like watching both assets, keeping it simple, though. If we go to NQ at that time, same volatile open. Here's the break above New York. Didn't make a new high of day. So now is this our lower high from back here, right? So now our lower high, is this going to sell off and go lower low? Definitely could be the case, but I'm thinking with ES having made a new high of day here, that's pretty bullish. I'm assuming NQ is going to eventually get the steam to want to do that because now I don't think ES wants to come down. So I kind of have to believe NQ probably doesn't want to come down either. Of course it could. But I like to just say, well, one's breaking higher. I don't think I could fade that and short a different indice because they probably both want to maybe move higher now. But it gets tricky. You look at NQ, a lot more difficult price action underneath its New York, right? So you definitely could get induced into selling it under here. away from this VWAP. So that's why I try to look at that 15-minute on either asset, if not also ES. So let's bring over our 15-minute here and throw on our overnight VWAP from the changeover of day. And again, this was a whipsaw-y day. You can see we kind of got this double bottom, but all these rejections are underneath the overnight, right? This would be telling you to potentially short it because you're underneath it. Sellers are in control. It's been a bearish day. Maybe it's just this double bottom that kept us from wanting to move lower, right? So normally I would just be liking the shorts here because of this lower high, but having watched ES saying it's moving higher. So I don't know how NQ is not. First of all, how is it not moving higher with it? But eventually you give it time and NQ worked its way back higher. Now another thing that was also pretty interesting, but it came with some time. If you look at this markup here, this is the initial balance, the first hour of the day. Like we said, ES already broke out of it. NQ came very, very close, but did not break it here. But we know majority of the time it probably wants to break at least one of these sides. So thankfully, rather than just chasing this drift, which I didn't want to do, I get a little bit of a pullback, break of high day view up. Let's go get this clear target. If you go to the edge report here, this was no filters. Just the last 258 days, 14% of the time do we just double break, which is very rare, but no breaks 5% of the time. Only 14 days out of the last 258. So we're probably going to break out of this level. And we haven't yet. It looks like buyers are in control. ES already took its high. Let's go get this high over here on NQ. And it finally went and got it. So that was also helped me lean long despite this chop down here. But I think overall, ES definitely had the cleaner structure. Especially, we make the point all the time. You look at ES at the open, or any of the assets, right? If we just rewind it to the open here, looks like we want to be a buyer, right? Chugging a little bit higher. Maybe this is the respect off New York. This isn't a terrible long, right? The one thing that would be said is the opening range is still setting. I don't love taking trades in those first 15 minutes, but it doesn't make the setup bad. Just maybe makes it harder to gauge in time because you like the longs there. What just happened? Oh my God. Right, so if I could just give it time, give it 20, 30 minutes from the open, gather information, who's in control today, what are we wanting to do today, and then I can make a better decision as time goes on, right? Because then we come, all right, sellers look to be in control. Let's see if we find shorts here. Oh, but now we're above New York VWAP, right? So just always waiting for information to convince you to do something, right? You wanted to long it back here. You actually were right. I wanted to long it, but it was way early. You actually wanted to long it at 10:08. Not 9:44, right? So that's always the tough part of trading at the open. So that's why I always try to just tell people to be patient. You're just going to find more information. The more information you get, the cleaner longs, right? After you make a new high of day here, after seeing buyers with this strong rally, do you think you want to be a seller anymore? Probably not. But at this moment in the morning, you might want to be a seller. So now when it comes back to this VWAP that you know you like to find your trades off of, if you've seen Futures 2.0, and for anyone that hasn't, you guys could all get a first month free. If you click the link in my bio, you get access to my full VWAP strategy here. And this is also where we live stream every morning. So if you use code FIRST, or just click the link down below to get access to all of this. 3 strategies, all the live streams, all the replays of it. But you know I want to be a buyer at this VWAP. Rather than chasing higher highs, I need to see the pullback. I'll go get the next higher high, right? But this one takes some time. But were you ever wrong? No. Structure is still building higher lows on the bottom, so I can't be too scared out of, oh my God, look at these lower highs. What side of the VWAP are we on? We're above it. So I don't care about any lower highs. We're still above VWAP. The most important thing is what side of VWAP are we on? Once we break lower and we have lower highs with it, right, if we were down here, okay, then I could be a seller. But right now we only have half of the equation. We're making potential lower highs, but we're still above it. So as long as we're on the right side of VWAP, I'm sticking with my trade. And thankfully, you get paid for it if you have the patience to stick to your rules and not close the trade early. But hopefully you guys made money on this day. Hopefully you guys didn't get too chopped up. And this also even goes back to the point of you're going to be wrong. You're going to be early. You're going to be confused, right? We were sitting here on stream of what a move. What a move. Oh my God. What do we do here? Do I want to buy it here? I mean, I kind of do, but what is going on? You can be confused. Don't do anything if you are confused. Wait for it to become clear. Because then we saw the new high of day saying, all right, I guess we are buying it today. Because also at that point, I could bring up the 15-minute. Look where this drawing is on this higher high. We just held this overnight VWAP. I want to be a buyer when we pull back. Overnight VWAP. Oh, I know I want to be a buyer. And it's lined up on top of New York. So now the direction is clear. And if you've seen my strategy, you know what price is clear as well. So your job just becomes so much more easier when you gather more information with some patience. All right. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you check out the links down below. Hopefully I'll see you guys on stream and back tomorrow for the next day of our 25-day series. I'll see you guys on stream tomorrow morning.